vehicles constantly driving. Tell me what's going on. These around here to hear humming. We were hoping to get a good recording of them. Things going down. A few rapid workers at the same time. Closing the door.
So can you please tell us your names, please? Something about people. Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Haunted Man or Mountain of Entities podcast, which is what I'm transitioning into now. Oh, it's getting a bit cold here in Auckland. It's getting into, I guess it's autumn, fall, going to winter. So it's getting pretty cold now, and it's changing, of course, on the other side of the world where I used to live. It's heading into summertime. Don't forget those hot temperatures in the Nevada desert. So I played back some of the samples at the beginning of this when I started the podcast. Some of that footage that I played last time. This is basically, I call it the Kamikaze podcast. Basically, I'm coming in here just to say hello. I am going to be playing some new footage. Last time I did play a slowed down piece of the UFO capture. Well, one of the craft that I caught on camera when I was out over in West Auckland back in March of this year, 2021. And I had to actually slow down the footage quite considerably for you to even see in the frames these craft. Well, one of these craft. Now, in this footage, if you notice, there's also another one that's moving down very quickly behind the silver saucer that moves across the screen. So, if you listen to the voices, there's this man that's, coming across very loud, very boisterous, coming through on the parabolic. And he's actually talking. He's talking like to some other beings down in the bush area. He's talking to whatever's down there, and he's getting a strange response. Now, the voices that are coming back, I'm sure that most of you will agree with me if you listen to that footage. They do not sound human. They do not. Yes, they are speaking a kind of English, but the voices don't sound human at all. So, quite interesting. There's not only getting the visuals, you're getting the actual interaction from things on the ground. So this is late at night here in New Zealand, but maybe we'll get some of the UK people on the other side of the world that will come in there. But I thought I would just play a little bit of that footage, because to me it's quite fascinating, and to me it goes beyond the law of averages that I'm capturing these craft. There's something else beyond all of this, just happenstance. So I've worked very hard on my research. I've been an instrumental transcommunication researcher for over 10 years now. I've also been able to done paranormal investigations, more so back in America, with working with others. Here back in New Zealand, I've been more of a lone wolf, and I think in some ways that's actually played to my advantage as far as these beings that reside in the forests around the world. You probably heard, if you heard the beginning of the podcast there, except the Bigfoot people, big people repeated the call that came to me from them. Now, I don't know if this was initiated from Skinwalker Ranch from mid 2013, but there's it's strange that I had that encounter in 2013 at Skinwalker, and then a couple of years later I get this message on the other side of the world that the phenomena can attach. Now, these beings, I think some of them have abilities beyond space, beyond our understanding of physics, beyond our understanding of reality. Maybe we might look at multiple dimensions, quantum physics, and how there could be beings that could transverse these different dimensions that exist. Maybe some of them are gatekeepers. Maybe some of them are watchers. Maybe some of them come over to observe what we are doing in our world. Now, when we're doing paranormal investigations in the past, oftentimes the sounds, the voices of ghosts would pick up the voices of them talking about the things that we're doing. So a lot of times the spirits or ghosts in these haunted locations, they would see very clearly what we're doing. And some of them, weren't even familiar with the technology that we were using. And so they're very well aware of us, but we are really not well aware of them. We might hear something walking, we might hear a whisper, something strange might happen. It seems to happen so quickly. And when people see apparitions, they don't hang around for long. They're here and then they're gone. It's almost like a fish when it jumps out of the water. It has to fight against gravity. Once it leaves the water, it's fighting gravity, and then gravity's pushing it back down to the water. It's almost like the phenomena, in order for us to visualize, it has to get through some laws, some sort of laws that holds them in place, that keeps them in check in the veil, so to speak. So welcome anybody joining me. I know it is late here on a Friday night. I just thought I would do an impromptu podcast. I've been dying and been itching to talk to you guys. And I appreciate some of you send me messages. I actually heard from one man from a meetup group that I had. I kind of phased it out because people weren't showing up. There were people showing interest about that for whatever reason. They weren't showing up. I did have one man that contacted me from the group. He's a embalmer, and he said to me that he's had some experiences with shadow people and other things, and so he was very interested in what I'm doing. And he told me that there was other people in the funeral industry that have had similar things. Some of them are quite interested in it as well. So, are these shadow people? Are they just the deceased? Are they something else? It's a big question. People, when they die, sometimes people will see an apparition, and it will appear like the person that just passed on. Sometimes we can see spirits. We can see them just as little shapes of light, kind of like static. And I've seen ones like that. I've seen the full body apparitions. I've seen the shadow beings. I've seen with somebody else. We both witnessed what some people might call the hag syndrome that apparently holds people down. We did see. I was with this lady, and we saw this old, scraggly old lady staring straight at us from about 7 feet away, and straight in front of us, just went floating straight across the room, staring straight at us. It's not very often that people see ghosts at the same time, and we weren't on any substance or anything like that, so it was quite interesting to have that happen. People can also share death experiences. When someone passes over, they might also witness what the person's experiencing. They might experience a light that seems to come into the room. When I wrote my paper on near-death experiences, it's one of the things that the atmosphere in the room would change as people were about to pass over. And in some cases, people would appear like they got well all of a sudden, or they were in like comatose, and all of a sudden a light opened up inside of them, and like their eyes seemed to view things that other people in the room couldn't see before they passed over. So thank you for joining me. I'm Mark Capel, the Haunted Man. I'm just doing this little podcast here. I thought that I would just drop in. I have been so busy. Now I do ask questions, and one of the questions I did ask was, why am I here? Why, they're saying that one of the voices said that I've had many lives with you, and I'm going to play these. Not today, but I'm going to put them in with a video because the software that I'm using, StreamYard, does not allow me to play MP3 samples, so unfortunately. But I can kind of right now sort of do a preempt for you for next time. They said that they would show me their seventh heaven, and I don't know what that means. And is that like something Pauline from the New Testament, where he talks about being taken into the seventh heaven and seeing unspeakable things, or things that couldn't be explained in his language. And they talk about they talk about procreation. Now I don't know if there's something in their world that they have an issue with. They talk about we heal you. And she invited you. So I've got some sort of invite. I don't know how I came on their radar. I don't know if it's because I saw one of their craft back in southern Nevada in early 2013, and just outside Nelson, Nevada. I don't know if that sparked something, but that definitely got me launched into ufology. I went from a paranormal investigation background to wanting to understand what was actually going on. So from that point, it basically launched me into ufology and in a proactive way, and also joining Las Vegas UFO hunters. It's quite neat. I mean, I love the desert skies because the desert skies, you could almost guaranteed to have a starry night every night. And we used to go out to what they called Valley of the Orbs, just west of Las Vegas. We would go there with Las Vegas UFO hunters, Alex and BK. Even had their own little show for a while. So I'd meet up with them and some other people, and so that was great. Other things they mentioned to me, as I'm going through this stuff, they say, we help you, something about you pray or something. They also use language that's not modern language. They say suddenly fro. Fro comes from, and that's an ancient word that's not used anymore. So it's interesting doing ITC when you get really archaic languages and addiction that's not used anymore, not in our time. Sometimes they talk about spaceship. If you've seen any of those old sci-fi space movies from the 60s, they talk about the spaceship. I don't think we really use that word anymore. But I get a lot of the old phrases that aren't used anymore. It's quite interesting. And it's handy to be able to just type it into the computer and see, okay, so this is where this originates from. Sometimes I get things come up that's not that I can't even look up in Google. Other things that they've said to me, there are definitely some other beings here that don't like this communication that I'm doing. That's ongoing communication. One thing, this spirit, I just call him Matthew. He talks to these other beings in the bush, and they're responding. I can actually hear some movement in the bush. You can actually hear it on the audio. Now, I don't know for sure if it's actual wildlife, like a bird flying on a tree or something, but it's picking up some kind of movement along with these voices. And he says something about you find their poo where these beings came down. I guess these smaller craft, they don't have, sounds like they don't have toilets on them. They must travel really fast. Now, I'm getting repeated messages that says they fix you real quick, Mark. Wow, fighting cats just outside the studios. I don't know if you heard that. 2 cats just fighting in the yard there. I'm not sure if that got picked up. That's kind of a cool sound effect, though. Then it sets off the dogs. I don't know if you heard that either. Set the dogs off on the other side. Quite entertaining at night time, anyway. Some of the names, they repeat the names of these beings that they get repeated. They also say my name, first and last name, this is from the field, though I've called on my parabolic. They say, we are the aliens. This is another one they are saying, this is what I captured on April 16th of this year, 2021. They fix you, some other names, things. Look, there was one message that says "will take woman." I don't know what that means. They mention different things here. I'm not sure what I'll read out, but anyway, I thought this was just a chance just to say hello and see if anybody came online here. So, if you're joining me from my other channel, just to make note that I am transitioning over to mountainofentities.com. Up there, you'll find the new YouTube link. So, if you want the up-to-date stuff, all the podcasts that I'm going to be finally moving over to, it'll be going over to that new YouTube channel. So the best way to get to that is to go through mountainofentities.com. Up there's a YouTube link, so just go click on that. Will take you straight to this Mountain of Entities channel. It's just real interesting stuff. You're living in some really interesting times with this. All this talk about these craft. They're getting caught by the military on their various cameras. Some people are coming up with explanations for what this is, and some of the explanations just don't fit the what's going on. They use this. Some skeptics will use a straw man argument. They can't overall beat the footage, so they'll find something, nitpick at something, but it doesn't really scientifically reflect the other stuff that's going on in that footage. I was just following a little bit from George Knapp's Mystery Wire, and it's quite interesting. He obviously he talks about the subject a lot. He interviews quite a few people. He's been the one in the US media that has spearheaded the UFO effort. I remember back in mid '80s when I was living in Auckland, New Zealand. I remember in the mid '80s, him doing his interview with Bob Lazar and Area 51, and they even, I don't know how, but the media down here in New Zealand also took interest in that, and they aired that. So I remember that. That was one of the first things I remember from George Knapp, all the way down New Zealand. I mean, that's something for it to filter through to here. Of course, now we live in the internet age where things just go through very quickly. So I'm just looking through at the messages here. So if you're joining me live here, please jump in and say hello. You have a question, a thought, please jump in and say hello. So I've got a group of people here, a couple of quite active field researchers who are very interested in any kinds of anomalous hominids in the bush, who are finding things, structures, giant footprints, and who have gotten in touch with me, finding different things, even capturing. There was one image I see. It's like looks like a face that shows up on one of the shots. Apparently, there was some loud stomps in this particular forest. I'm not going to give out the area. I do try to respect people's areas where they go. If you have an area that's very special to you and you want to kind of keep it intact, a lot of researchers like myself who generally like to keep those areas away from people, because we don't want people coming in hoaxing, or we don't want someone else yelling a Bigfoot call and mistaking that for have a false positive. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. I am Mark Capel, Haunted Man, just doing a Kamikaze podcast, joining up and welcoming you here. And just seeing, wonder what the people are doing tonight. All this whole COVID thing going on around the world. So let's pull in some stuff here. Let's see if I'm going to try and do some audio, audio with a picture. So let me just see if I can do this. Hopefully I can. Let's take my picture away and see if it will. I'll stop my cam and here I'll just have the audio going. Okay. Okay, now it's not wanting to do it. So I'm just trying to bring in an image. Let's see. Well, okay, this is really frustrating. I'm trying to get images in and it's not letting me. The software is not letting me put the images in with the sound, because I like to show pictures and I like to talk about the pictures, and maybe that's just not something that's that most podcasters want, but I do. So I'm just going to show you some pictures here. Anyone that's joining me, welcome. I'm Mark Capel, the Haunted Man.
Before I go, do you leave a message? Santa
All right, so I showed some images here of some of the stuff that I found interesting in recent years of things out there. That was in the first area. This other area is actually where I got those get the crafts. So yeah, this software that I'm using is a bit finicky as far as trying to put a picture in, and I'm just trying to do a voiceover for it. So what is going on? This sounds like there's being something going on the ground, and there's stuff going on in the sky. And really, I want to know what's going on. Now, I don't know that if I bring other people, if it would have an effect with what's going on there. I had one man go with me not too long ago, and he said that after the experience, well, we did hear a voice, a hello, a man's voice, up on the edge of this rural road, in a pretty isolated area up in these mountains. He said that after that, something whacked the side of his house up on the upper level. And he lives by a bush too, this gentleman. And, some people, will go out and they'll have, you start looking and you'll have experiences. Now, I think it's a good thing to try to write off things as well too. If something's not what we hope it to be. If there's a Prozac answer for it. Anyway, I thought I'd just drop in and say hello and see if I could have a chat with some folks, but I guess they're just not happening tonight. I think I think this is the first time I've done this and not had anybody on, at least for the software. Unless there's a problem with the software, I don't know. So I'm just going to check back in here. And do a little test. It is graveyard dead here. It is dead. Don't know why that is. So it's not just me that's had things. There's other people, and most of the people I hear from are people that never went in to look. They never went in looking for a Bigfoot or anything like that, and they had a sighting. They had some sort of encounter that was pretty hair-raising. Usually, in areas away from the public. And then they're like whole view of like, well, reality. Well, what's really going on? Is this something that happens to other people? And and I get that. I get people saying, "Oh, has anyone else seen a Bigfoot?" No, here in this country. And I know it sounds crazy down in the Pacific Ocean. I mean, I have my own theory as to how they got here. This is really weird to have this. I don't know if there's something's going on my channel. The stuff's not going through. Normally, I would get a number of people jumping on, and it's just not doing anything. Well, if you're joining me here after anyway, it was a hello. Please say something in the comments. Please like. Please subscribe. Have I been banned? Has YouTube banned me in some way? Has the algorithm killed me like a cockroach on the digital highway? Normally, I understand that live events do tend to get a priority on YouTube. They do tend to get a priority. So, have I touched a raw nerve somewhere? Is it something after that footage, that UFO footage that I played last time? I don't know. So I'm a truth seeker. I don't put any tinsel on me or anything like that. I am what I am, and I'm just a truth seeker. I'm not really a traditionalist. I just want to know the truth. So anyway, well, I guess I'm not going to talk to dead air. I'm just going to check off here. It just seems really weird that it's this quiet. I don't understand it. It's just, I don't know. I'm flashing up my website there, mountainofentities.com. Yeah, new website. Maybe I become a ghost. Maybe I become a ghost in the world. I left the world behind, and ghosts. It seems like sometimes when they record paranormal stuff, ghosts. Some of them seem to go on like nothing has happened. Like that's one of my exes. We'll talk about this ghost of this lady that took her life in this house, and she said she would hear walking quite a bit, and would never get any kind of response to it. So interesting stuff. All right, well, folks. Hopefully everything's all good, but it does seem a little strange that I'm getting no one coming on live. That is the first time in a long time that I've had nobody joining me here. There's gotta be a good reason for that. I don't know. Is everybody out partying? Is there something going on that I'm not aware of? It's really troubling, actually. I don't like to talk to myself. It's much more interesting to talk to people. So, well, I guess I'm just going to finish up with the Bigfoot area audio. I'll finish up with that and saying goodnight. Maybe I'll check this out, see what's going on. Good night. Look at that. Well, good night, folks. That's me. I'm Mike Capel. I'm the Haunted Man.